You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.
Hey,
What up, Bronny Boo?
how are you?
I am good. Other than it's nighttime tomorrow work, but other than that, I'm good.
Tomorrow's my last day before school starts.
Wow. But you're ready for your routine.
I'm kind of excited to go back to school.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice, like, waking up and, like, being like, I got to be here at this time. It's nice to have
like a
breaks
purpose.
from that.
Right, but it's a purpose.
But when you're a month off from that, it's like, okay, I'm ready for it to happen.
I get it.
And I'm ready to have, like, deadlines,
Structure.
and goals,
Structure.
and, right,
When
a
you-
time frame.
Still haven't gotten your grades, huh?
No, this week, sometime this week.
Thursday here.
I'm like excited for my grades. I'm curious.
Think you did well?
I think so. I mean, it's hard to gauge. It's really hard to gauge because like you have absolutely no idea. And like I think I might be answering this well, but I might not be, I just don't know. And I won't know until these first set because then like there was no even like we didn't even have midterms where it's like they give you feedback. So you don't really know. You might think you're doing it correctly and it's not correct.
Right. You could
But now after this
you
one-
can miss the issue.
Right.
Completely.
Or I could just be like, I think this is the best way to approach this and I'm just wrong.
Correct.
Yeah. So who knows? I think I did well.
I think approaching it is different as long as.
But I mean, like how I'm writing it.
I get it.
Like some I might not be writing them correctly in the answers. Although I did win the writing award for the best in the class. So
Oh, good call. Nicely done.
yeah.
Nicely done.
So I do think I'm writing them correctly.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Please.
I will. What's this thing I'm hearing about that the Biden administration is using Taylor Swift to get votes?
Oh, I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, they're using her
But that
because of her following.
yeah, that's not surprising.
I know. I'm just.
Well, we can look into it.
I'm just asking what.
But the White House has always used celebrities to help garner people to vote. It's not a come vote for Biden. It's a get out and vote campaign, quote unquote. Get out and vote.
But it's to get right because she has so many followers.
Yeah, and most of them
It's a great
are youngish.
network.
But like a year or two ago, Olivia Rodrigo was at the thing. I'm sure back in the day, like Madonna went to the White House. That's just like a thing that people do. I mean, I would imagine that most Taylor Swift fans are maybe not most. I would imagine that plenty of Taylor Swift fans are Republican because that just fits. They're like white women in their 30s, and those are usually Republican.
I think it's a Biden thing they're using it for.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's maybe that'll change people's votes.
Okay.
Because Taylor Swift fans are so obsessed with it, they would do anything that Taylor tells them to do. But I mean, that's not surprising. Taylor Swift, Biden, she's so annoying. Taylor Swift. I mean, this says Fox News.
You're gonna block your face with that. Go ahead.
No.
Okay.
No. Fox News runs outlandish segment after Taylor Swift runs outlandish segment that Taylor Swift is a Pentagon asset. Fox News exposes Taylor Swift as obvious Biden campaign asset. So it seems like it's a Fox News thing. Let's read.
Okay.
As you may have heard, our cover. Wait, what? Oh, this is like an annoying article. Right? Let's see what New York Times. No, that's from a month ago. Fox News' Jesse Waters floated a new theory about Taylor Swift on Tuesday night, saying that the Pentagon had planned to make her into an asset in a pro-President Joe Biden psyop. Waters started out with a conundrum on why Swift has so many fans. I mean, I like her music. She's all right. But I mean, have you ever wondered why or how she blew up like this? The answer he suggested is that Swift has entered a covert pact with the Biden administration to promote.
I don't know.
Well, that's obviously. I mean, that's ridiculous. She was bigger. Like she's been big for a decade.
I don't think that's sort of stupid. I wonder if the article is even written correctly.
This is a quote from him. Around 4 years ago, the Pentagon Psychological Operations Unit floated turning Taylor Swift into an asset during a NATO meeting. What kind of asset? A psyop for combating online misinformation. He then shared footage from a 2019 conference on misinformation, framing the speaker as the Pentagon PSYOP unit pitching NATO on turning Taylor Swift. I mean, let's just watch that. Here, let's watch from himself. I mean, that seems really stupid, but do I think that if I was the president, would I try to get a hold of Taylor Swift's agent and be like, can Taylor Swift come to a photo op with Biden? because she's the biggest pop star in the world, that seems like a no-brainer.
I get
Why
it.
wouldn't you do that, you know? But is she a
Taylor Swift's
plant?
the biggest star in the world. Sorry, Gutfeld. She's been blanketed across
He
the
annoys
sports
me.
media entertainment atmosphere. The New York Times just speculated she's a lesbian. And last year's tour broke Ticketmaster. A tour that's revenue tops the GDP of 50 countries. I mean, I like her music. She's all right. But, I mean, have you ever wondered why or how she blew up like this?
Yeah, because white women are crazy.
Well, around 4 years ago,
That's why.
the Pentagon Psychological Operations Unit floated turning Taylor Swift into an asset during a NATO meeting. What kind of asset? A psyop
How does
for
he-
combating
how-
online
based on what?
misinformation. Listen.
You came in here wanting to understand how you just go out there and counter an information operation. The idea is that social influence can help encourage or promote behavior change, so potentially as like a peaceful information operation. I include Taylor Swift in here because she's a fairly influential online person. I don't know if you've heard of her.
Yeah, that's real.
Okay, but so what? That was nothing.
Okay.
That was nothing. That was like me saying, okay, at a board meeting for a business, okay, Taylor Swift is someone that we want to get in our brand in her hands so that she could promote it.
But I think what he's saying is at that NATO meeting.
Okay, but NATO's not America.
Oh, was it NATO?
Yeah, but NATO's not America. NATO's not Biden. There are 60 countries in NATO.
I'm just saying.
And like, what was that meeting?
I don't know.
Right. He didn't tell us what it was, which is sus. If he had the smoking gun, like, who's that woman?
Well, let's hear what else has. What else?
We got to find out who that woman was, what that meeting was.
Pentagon PSYOP unit pitched NATO on turning Taylor Swift into an asset for combating misinformation.
She didn't even sound American, that woman, to me.
This is nothing new. In the 1950s, the government strong-armed Louis Armstrong into doing propaganda tours across Africa. The CIA did the same thing with jazz singer Nina Simone, except they did it without her really knowing. In the 70s, Nixon enlisted Elvis in his war on drugs. He gave the king a badge and named him a covert federal law enforcement agent. Michael Jackson was tapped by Reagan using his song Beat It in his public service campaigns against teen drinking and driving.
Different. Very different.
Michael Jackson persuading minors not to drink. Anyway. So
That's
is
not
Swift.
news. Like, what does he mean? He's saying Reagan used Michael Jackson's song in a campaign. That's not Michael Jackson working with Reagan. He licensed a song, you know, and then him saying, like, he's trying to then also imply, like, if you're the news, you're the news. If you're the news, you can't say, you're not implying that Michael Jackson is diddling kids.
There is no news.
Because that's not factual.
We know there is no news.
Right. So, like, who's that woman? Can we find who? This
I have no
article
idea.
says the speaker is data engineer Alicia Marie Bagger. She has no connection to NATO or the Pentagon, and her remarks were taken out of context. Let's see who she is now. Let's see.
It's amazing internet.
North Carolina resident state. I can't really find anything on this woman, interestingly. All I'm finding is everyone saying conspiracy theory that Taylor Swift is a psyop. I can't find anything on her herself, which is a little sus, to be fair. Okay, that's all. That's all.
Really? So nothing on her, huh?
I mean, I could probably. The thing is, this is so current. Like, all the stuff are like
As a result of that,
all of it is
Jesse
like,
Waters.
no, Taylor Swift is not a psyop. Why conspiracy theorists think Taylor Swift is a Pentagon, whatever. Pentagon shakes off, like, it's all that. So I can't get any actually on her, probably. I mean, I could probably go. No.
No biggie.
Yeah.
All right, so what else, Bronbo? Oh, my brother's calling.
Well, you can't answer.
I'm not. Go ahead.
So, yeah, that's, I guess, Taylor Swift being a Pentagon side, which also, if that's the case, they're doing a bad job because she's very not political. She's not in the public eye. No. She's very, very popular, but she never talks about her personal beliefs or views.
But then he talks about something with her boyfriend from the Kansas City Chiefs with the Pfizer and everything.
Oh, well, yeah. Travis Kelce has been in the big Pfizer ads for sure.
Well, they're paying him a lot. That's why.
Right. That's my
I think it's just
thought
economics.
process.
It's just all money.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a sinister
conspiracy.
cabal.
Right. You just like, you pay me, I'll do it.
Right. And I
And
think he's
get
like, I
it.
got to cash in.
Listen, I get it.
While I'm hot, I got to cash in.
If someone came to you and said, "Hey, here's $10 million, do an ad," who would turn it down?
Right. For 1 minute of.
And by the way,
screen
I know it
time.
sounds like dickish, but even though I'm anti-vax with Pfizer, if Pfizer came and said,
If they were like, here's $15 million, okay.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. Put that shit in me.
No, I'm not saying put that shit in me. I'm saying, but I'm doing the ad.
Right.
He doesn't have to have that shit put in him to do the ad.
Right. And it's like, who cares? He doesn't owe us anything, Travis Kelce.
No, and he's just marketing using his
I feel both ways because on the one hand, it's like
You're selling
you're 100% selling out. But then again, who the fuck cares?
No, but he's
Travis
not,
Kelce should sell out, right?
but
I guess
he's not putting. We don't know if he took it or not.
No, sure. No, that's not right. Let's ignore that part.
And if someone's going to say, "I'm getting it because he advertised it," you're a fucking idiot. Then you deserve to get it.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Pfizer's even advertising that is sus.
but this
the
is-
government should be advertising it. Right? The government should be saying, get your immunizations, not the company that sells them. Shouldn't be saying, get your immunizations.
Well, why?
Very
Other,
different.
other pharmaceutical things do it all the time.
Sure,
Never
and I don't
watch these
think they
stupid
should.
things. If you've got, you could check your colonoscopy.
I don't think they should, but there's also
they made it law where people they can do it now.
But it's also very different when someone's saying, if you have ulcerative colitis,
that's true.
this medicine might help you. That's very different than saying, this is a government or mandated
Not
shot.
anymore, though.
No, it is for children. Like, it's part of the vaccine schedule. Or like, you have to get your MMR. You
So
have to
kids
get
have
your.
to get it now?
I might
don't
not be
know.
correct.
I don't know
But like, let's say like the MMR vaccine that everyone gets. You know, when you're a kid, you get it every year. When you're an adult, you get it every 10 years or whatever. Like, we have to get it to go to school, to work at certain jobs. Those companies should not get to advertise. If I have to do something, it should be the government, not a private company. But if you're marketing Ozempic, you can market it because it's up to the person to choose. You know what I mean?
But I also
there's a big difference.
I also
there.
think, look, I'm tired of those ads, but there is some good part to the fact of if you have an illness, like for example, doctors might only prescribe what they get in the best, even though it's not legal, financial remuneration. But and a lot of doctors might not know. If you watch TV and say, "Oh my God, I didn't know for rheumatoid arthritis," I think it's a good idea. I'll ask my doctor about it.
You think if you know by watching Fox News at home an ad
I'm not about
that the
Fox
doctor
News.
doesn't know?
No, what I'm saying is, meaning I'm okay with the pharmaceuticals companies may advertise it only because it might make you say, "Hey, what about this?" and ask your doctor about something. What's the downside?
Let's say you have what rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay.
You have that. You're not just like, if I have rheumatoid arthritis, I'm not just waiting for someone to tell me what the medication
No,
is.
what
I'm looking
saying-
up what I need to
but
do.
If I'm on,
Like if you have rheumatoid arthritis, you're not like
No, but
McDonald's
your
commercial.
no.
Oh, there's a medicine for this? No, you know there's medicine
that's
for
not,
it.
You're not listening. That's not what I'm saying. You trust your doctor prescribes something, but a lot of subjectivity. You don't know. It might work for one. The doctor might. You don't know. There's different kinds of treatment.
Right,
And
but
if you
why
see
would a
something that
commercial-
educates you, and you could say you can ask your doctor about it. There's no harm. I don't think there's any harm. I think it's a good thing to be educated.
No, sure, I guess. I mean, I don't think there's
Not
any
I
harm.
guess that's the truth.
I don't think there's any harm in being like, doctor, is there medicine for rheumatoid arthritis?
No, I'm
but if
saying
you're
you-
like, doctor, I want to take
No, you're not following what I'm saying.
Ozempic, or I want to take Relaxifid or whatever, a random one. It's like you were just marketed to, you were sold.
No, but you're not saying I'm taking it. You could ask your doctor, what about
this drug? Right, sure.
It's an educational thing because
Sure.
and not a lot of people that are elderly go on the internet and start searching things up. Your generation might, and maybe we're
true.
the next 2 generations from now because you would be used to it. But my parents never did. Eventually, it'll die out. I think it'll change because you've learned it and grown up
And
with it.
people my age aren't getting sold by commercials, at least that kind of commercial. They're not getting sold by commercials
You're
that
also
are
not
on TV.
getting regular TV, right?
Right,
It's different.
exactly.
So I think like house phones will die, if not already dead, with my generation.
When the phone rang last episode, we were like, what the fuck?
Right, my generation is the last of house phones.
100%.
Okay, I think my generation could be the last generation of TVs. Could be.
Or at least like television
Newspapers,
as it is.
Newspapers and magazines. I think my generation's gone with it. Last one.
Yeah. There are certain things that will stay, but there's like newspapers, it just doesn't make sense. Although people like physical, like books haven't died at all. Books will, and they never will, I don't think, because there's something about the physicality. Same with like vinyl. Vinyl died. It did. And they came back. It was revived because people were like, you know what? I like the physicality of music. Certain things I don't think will ever go away. Commercials, they're just going to have to... Who's at the front door?
Oh, I think Stone's dropping off the car.
There's certain things that just don't make sense. Like commercials in between a show. It just doesn't make sense. Advertisers are going to have to figure out another way. I mean, they're always going to try to sell you.
They'll use this.
Yeah, or they'll embed it within things. Like there's so many things now. If you scroll TikTok, there's so many things that you're like, I don't know if this is an ad or not. Like it doesn't tell me it's an ad. It doesn't feel like an ad, but this person's probably getting paid to talk about this product.
Right. It's a paid.
It's a little. It's influencing.
It's all it is. Yes.
And they don't. It's not really a commercial. I mean, it is, but like they're not. They're just like, oh, and it's just very real. It's very authentic. Where like the ad on TV, the pharmaceutical ad is like a guy with all the cracked skin or whatever, and it's so dramatic. And then he's like skipping through a field after he takes his medicine.
No, it's a whole marketing.
Now it's like someone is just like, oh my God, my skin's so fucking itchy. What the hell I need? And then they're like, but I was told about this medicine. I started taking it. It works like great. And it's like very authentic
I see that on TV,
marketing.
like that sweating thing where the person sweats and you put this cream on. Same thing. I mean, they can still do that on TV.
So it'll just evolve. But it is a little sus that the only countries in the world that pharmaceutical companies advertise are America and New Zealand. 2 out of 198. That's bizarre. And then it makes sense. I don't know why it flies in New Zealand. It just makes sense that it would be here because like they're just making so much money.
So much money.
This like I think it'd be great if there were PSAs that were operated by the government. What's
the PSA?
Public service announcement.
Okay.
If there was like, instead of a commercial, the CDC was like, rheumatoid arthritis these are the symptoms, blah, 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 blah. If you have this, talk to your doctor about possible medication. But when a company is saying,
well, it's self-serving.
Riflivin is the solution. It's like, okay, now I want Riflivin and they make the money from it. Whereas there's the generic, like mom was on the phone with the pharmacy and they were like, oh, it's $2,500 for this pill.
I remember that, yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? It's a pill. It's just greedy. Very, very greedy.
No, it's big money.
And it's like if they're advertising, they're only advertising. They're not doing it to help you. They're doing it to make money.
The amount of money they're spending billions a year on advertising shows you how much money. Same with the automotive industry.
Cars are there. Cars are meant to be sold.
Okay,
Medicine shouldn't meant to be sold.
Saying, I mean, I'm using the point of the amount of money spent, which means how much money they make. Even the insurance companies. The insurance companies, they advertise every other commercial.
Yeah, but State Farm is trying to sell you. Because there's competition. There shouldn't be competition in medicine.
I hear you. I'm just saying that I agree with you. But when insurance companies spend billions and every other commercial is an insurance ad, you know we're being overcharged for fucking insurance.
But also,
it's ridiculous.
It makes sense. Like you don't see insurance ads on TikTok. You see them on Fox News. You see them on things that people 50 plus watch. Because those are the people that are buying insurance. You know, it's targeted.
But the amount of money being spent.
Meanwhile, like
all ads are targeted.
Right, but there are but you were saying like the insurance companies are spending so much on advertising. It's like there are makeup companies that are spending just as much, but they're on YouTube and TikTok. So you're not seeing them, but little girls are.
Yeah, but the difference is on the
and little girls aren't seeing State Farm commercials.
But them, of course, okay, but right, and they're not going to advertise on at 2 PM when cartoons are on, when kids get home from school.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But that's I understand that's basic 101. I'm talking about the fact that the insurance company, which insurance is so fucking high and so crooked, if they have billions and billions to spend, different like makeup where you can electively say, I'm not going to get makeup, but everyone needs insurance. Something's got to change in the insurance aspect because
that's the same idea as the medication, as the pharmaceuticals.
It's crooked.
Something needs to change if they're spending so much money to sell us.
Correct. It's crooked.
And then the medicine's $2,500.
Which shows you how much money they're making.
It's like, no, the medicine should be $5 and advertise fucking less.
Right.
That's what it should be.
But
and the insurance, don't advertise as much and make the insurance less. You don't need to be making that much money.
It's unbelievable.
It's just greed.
It's so unbelievable the amount of money. And the insurance has gotten so out of fucking control. All insurance. I know I talked about this. We talked about this last time. I'm not going to beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Have you heard about like the tunnels in New York, the Jewish tunnels?
No.
This episode is brought to you by Manscaped. New year, new you. Your New Year's resolution was probably something involving bettering your life.
Yeah, like working out. Yeah, everybody goes, I'm going to lose weight and work out.
Yeah, but a good one is also like better hygiene. And you do accomplish that without the Manscaped. For real, it's the new year. You got to start it off right, like looking good, feeling good. And you can do that with Manscaped's products. I do it all the time. I use my beard hedger to trim down the new lawnmower 5.0, which is their brand new one.
It's great.
It is. If you thought the old ones were good, like this one, literally, the old ones, I would always get a little nervous when I was going, like shaving my balls with it. I would like
because
trim.
it nicks a little bit.
Yeah, I was just like, I didn't fully trust it. This one, glides right on them. I fully trust it.
And I love the nose one as a big one for me.
The weed whacker for your ear.
And the little flat
nose.
razor when you clean your shit up.
Yeah.
That
crop shaver.
That does not cut anything.
That one's great.
I mean, it doesn't, no bleeding.
Yeah.
You could push that shit so hard. No, on your chest, I go every direction. It's so smooth. I love the way it's smooth it is. It's a great product.
So they got a bunch of new products that you guys should go check out, upgrades to old stuff that you might have, or if you don't have any product, go buy the new stuff. You won't regret it.
But what you need to understand, our listeners need to understand, it's a great fucking gift.
Yeah.
No, it's priced reasonably. It's a great gift for your boyfriend, for your husband, for your son. It's so good because I find nothing. I gotta tell you, when people have hair out of their nose, their ears, or the back of the neck,
you can't do it.
No, I think it's disgusting. People wait a month till they get their hair cut and they do the back of the neck once a month. It makes you look gross. I'm sorry.
And then everything trickles down from there.
It's gross.
You have to be
gross.
presentable. Yeah.
No, I don't get it. Nose hairs.
So don't be gross. Don't start the year off on a gross note and go to manscaped.com.
No reason for you to do that.
Agreed.
Yep.
So you can accomplish all those problems by heading to manscaped.com. And if you use the code DaddyIssues20, you'll get 20% off your order and free shipping. So like Dad said, it's already reasonably priced, but by listening to the show, you get 20% off and free shipping.
Which is almost like they're paying you.
With the code DaddyIssues20. So go check out all the stuff. Start the new year off right. It'll help you keep your other resolutions in check because if you're looking good, you're feeling good. And if you're feeling good, you can accomplish the things that you want to do.
Listen, people listen to us because they like us, they like what we have to say, and they respect us. And we're telling point blank, fucking Manscaped, great product. Great product, period.
So once again, manscaped.com, use the code DaddyIssues20, and you'll get 20% off your order and free shipping. You didn't hear anything about this? This has been like the craziest thing in the last week. I don't know how it came up. I don't know how it was like discovered, but it turns out that the Hasidic, like ultra Orthodox in New York, like Park Slope, Brooklyn, like that area where all like the ultra Orthodox live, where like they don't even speak English. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they've been digging tunnels under the city, connecting all the different buildings.
Fuck out.
They've been doing it since COVID. And so then it was secret. It was only known within their community. They're a very insular community. For those who don't know, like even us as Jews, like we're outsiders to their community. It's like a cult, their community. They've been digging these tunnels, and then it just came out like a week ago. And like the NYPD.
Tunnels for what?
They've been connecting different buildings. It's like if you built a tunnel to the Boca Resort, so you could go under without people
How
knowing.
do you even begin to do that?
So apparently,
that's what Hamas does over years.
Yeah.
If you tell me the Jews did only over 3 years, they're good.
Well, now apparently what's coming out is that they were hiring illegal immigrants. A lot of the illegal migrants that were being housed in New York, they were paying them cash to be under the city digging these tunnels for them.
I didn't even support it.
I'll show you the videos.
I want to see it.
There's videos.
Wait, before you go there, remember when we went to Israel and we had hidden under the equipment?
Well, that was for military. That was for wartime.
I'm just saying, but crazy. How creative. You couldn't even move the machinery, but then one little button moved it or whatever.
But yeah, that was like bunkers in war.
Cool shit though, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But this is, so apparently no one knows the full story because we're not in the community. So we don't really know what they were using it for.
How'd they find it?
We can find out exactly the first time. But there were all these like people on Twitter that were saying like, there was this one guy who tweeted like 4 months ago. He was like, I hear Yiddish being spoken in my walls. And people were like, what the fuck? It was like, went kind of a little viral because he was like, there are Jews under my home. And so people thought it was a joke.
So do you call him exterminator? What do you do?
And then he just tweeted like a week ago. He was like, I was fucking right. I vindicated. There were Jews under my home. Because apparently he heard like little, drilling noises. And then he heard people speaking Yiddish. And so everyone dragged him. So that was one of the, but there were videos I'll show you of like Hasidic guys in like their suits and their hats, like coming out of the sewer grate. Like, first of all, it's so bad for us. It's such a bad look for us as Jews that we're like digging tunnels under New York, secret tunnels, and coming out of sewers. Horrible look for us. Then NYPD got involved, and it became like bad. There have been like full on brawls with the Hasidic and NYPD over these tunnels. They've been like kicked out of. So apparently, to go back to the beginning. Apparently it started, or at least people are theorizing, because during COVID, like in the height of lockdown, when it was like real serious lockdown, you weren't allowed to go to church or synagogue or anything. And they're so religious that they were like, and remember we talked about how in Brooklyn, they were like protesting against the cops, against lockdowns, because they were like, fuck this. They didn't want to listen to it. Apparently they were using these tunnels to connect from their homes to the synagogues.
I think good for them. I think
so
it's
that
creative.
they could go pray.
I think it's creative
Without people knowing.
Good for them.
It's so. If
it was BLM doing it though, would there be a problem or be okay?
Okay, no, but if it was Hamas building tunnels to go to their mosques, you would be like, they're a problem. We need to get rid of them. They're building tunnels under our cities. They're sleeper cells. They have a different culture. They don't speak our language. They don't want to be Americans. But we need to get rid of them.
Big difference.
And I think people start thinking that about the Jews because of this.
Big difference though. The Jews are not doing it for that. Just hear me out for a second. And Hamas wants to. It's a whole different concept.
But a lot of the propaganda is that the Jews are doing this. A lot of the things
understand that propaganda might be one thing, but I'm saying, but when you
are
make
you not propagandized?
No, but when you make the analogy of Hamas, there's a big difference. Hamas.
But it doesn't matter what the reality is. It matters what people perceive.
I'm not worried
And if
about
most
that,
of the
what people
country,
perceive.
if a lot of the country is like, yeah, I don't really like Jews that much, but whatever.
But
and
they
then
don't.
Like,
I get it. But you're hung up on that. I'm not.
If a lot of people are like, whatever, I'm indifferent about Jews or whatever, but then they're like, the Jews are building secret tunnels underneath our cities?
Yeah, it'll be forgotten in 3 weeks like everything else.
Okay, so then let's not talk about it. That's no big deal, whatever.
No, that's not saying.
I'm saying it's a big deal because it makes us bad.
Okay.
There's so much online.
I don't think it's as big of a deal as you think.
People online are saying this is just classic Jews like rats digging tunnels in the sewers.
Okay, and I get it. Let them say. I don't think, for example,
I turn around and I look at the Hasidic and I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Why are you building tunnels?
Okay, I look at it.
You're like, this is great.
No,
why?
Listen, but
I'm like, this is bad.
I think it's a bigger problem that people don't think about letting people in over the borders illegally.
Stick to the issue.
I am sticking to the issue.
That's a totally different. Okay, I think fentanyl is worse than this. So let's not talk about this. Let's only talk about fentanyl.
Okay, if you want to stop for a minute, I don't think this is a bad because I think as you do, because I think in 2 weeks it's like anything else. They move on to the next topic, and no matter what, they're going to hate Jews. Period. But I don't think it's as bad.
I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I'm just saying. One, it's hilarious, and then two, why the fuck are they doing that? And then three,
I don't know.
They're giving us a bad rap. Just like when you're like, oh, Jew, like never see Jews being so annoying and all this stuff. Fuck them for doing that because then it makes people hate Jews, right? You say that all to time.
Yes.
So then I'm going to say to you from now on, I'm going to say, yeah, but they already hate you, so who cares?
Okay, but you know what I'm saying?
We do care.
Okay, I hear you what you're saying. I'm not as concerned about that.
I'm not concerned.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Gotta stop because when I say concern, I'm not saying like you're up all night losing sleep over. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying we're having a conversation.
I just think it's bad for them doing that.
Okay, fair enough. But we're having a conversation where you feel one way about it, which is fine, and I feel, and I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but I feel slightly different where I don't think it's as bad as what you feel. That's what a conversation is.
Yeah, but you don't.
But if it was, I'm not allowed my opinion.
No, of course you are.
But the way you talk to me, I'm not allowed my opinion.
No, of course you're allowed your opinion. I just think if it was Hamas building tunnels,
you're 100% correct.
Let's not even say if it was just like a Lebanese group that was like building tunnels, it would make you hate Arabs more than you do now. I don't think you would stay at the same level. I think you'd be like, see, this is even more evidence. And then it's one step.
I don't hate Arabs though.
It's one more step on a we don't want these people here, right? If someone's at a 3,
Okay.
and you don't think that's a problem? If someone's at a 3 on the hatred of Jews, and this brings them to a 6, and then the next thing brings them to a 9, that's way worse than at a 3, in my opinion.
Okay, I don't think it's as bad. I'm going to say it for the 5th time.
No,
I don't
I understand what you're saying.
Because when I see what's going on with everything with Free Palestine, this and that, and what's going on, I think in the scheme of things currently right now, that is not a concern for the Jews as opposed to the bigger issue what's going on. That's my opinion.
What's the bigger issue going on?
Meaning the fact that everyone's anti-Jews, anti-Israel.
Right, exactly.
No,
this is part of that.
Okay.
That's not a bigger issue. That is this issue.
Okay. All right. Can I see it? Because we're saying the same. We're going over 12 times over.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see.
I hear you. I just don't know why we just have a different view on it. That's all. And it's probably because of my social involvement with social media is not as much as yours. My opinion on the way people think about Jews either way, but I do want to see what these tunnels look like and what the deal is.
Okay, so this is like...
I can't see, so I have to...
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I was getting...
No worries, that's fine.
This is under a synagogue, and this is one of the tunnels that like people...
Wait, they built those steps?
Oh, no, the steps are part of the basement, so now this is the basement. This is all the dirt that's come up. This is the start to the tunnel.
What? So it only goes to the synagogue?
We don't know. No, we don't know. There could be a vast expanse of tunnel that we don't know.
Where is the tunnel?
This is all dirt that was come up. They'll go into it. This is a long video. This is 2 minutes.
Okay.
This is the start of one of them. See, they took down a wall, and now they're in the wall.
Oh my God! Wow.
See, it's a tunnel.
That's crazy.
What's this?
That's crazy.
And then here is video from within the. This is after NYPD like came and raided one of the synagogues.
Oh, this
So
is
they're like
bad.
getting in fights with
This
them.
is bad.
Look, this is a video of a guy coming out of a sewer. You don't see that this is like I look at this and I'm like, this is bad for us.
Yeah, I don't think it's good. Yeah, I don't think they should do this.
And now they're fighting with the police because the police were like, you can't build tunnels.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I agree. It's stupid.
It's pepper spraying them. The cops pepper spraying all of them.
Oh my God.
Look at them. They're coming out of the wall. That's one of the entrances to the tunnel.
This is New York?
Yeah, Brooklyn.
This is like a third world country.
I mean, this area of Brooklyn is kind of a third world country.
Why? I'm curious to know why they did this. So that's in a temple.
Yeah, look, they're coming out of the wall, these people.
So, okay, so from what we could tell, they built it to the temple for them to pray. But why? Wow, that's unbelievable.
But then everyone online is running with like, they have these tunnels all over the country. Yeah. They're demonic, ritualistic tunnels.
It can't be safe for the structures on top.
No. At one point in one of the videos, they were like pulling stuff out of the tunnel, and there was like a mattress with a stain on it, and everyone was like, "That's a blood stain," and they're raping girls in the tunnels.
Yeah,
and so like people have run with these things, and it's like, if I was someone who like was inclined to like conspiracy theories about something, and I was like, yeah, the government has secret tunnels that they use for whatever nefarious purposes, and then video came out where it's like, yeah, there are these tunnels exist, I would be like, there we go. Even if it's as simple as like they did just build them to go to the synagogue because they wanted to pray, that's a nice idea, right? Even if it was built for that, it's like the fact that there's even evidence of tunnels under New York, it leads perfectly into the hands of Jews secretly control everything. They have their hand, it's like the conniving, manipulative Jew. Like, yeah, of course, if we have secret tunnels that access buildings all across New York, the most important city in the country, it's crazy. And so many let's see, is this the mattress?
breaking through. He wants you to throw it.
Yeah, see, look, this mattress. See, I don't see that. I don't know what that is, but people were like, "That's a blood stain from like a woman's vagina."
Oh God.
Or they're like, some people were like, they're raping children under there. Other people were like, they're ritualistically, satanically killing people. Because anti-Semitic tropes always have been like, Jews are the spawn of Satan. And so they're like, that's why the Jews have horns. There was the whole idea of the blood libel, which like in medieval times, they would always, like babies used to die all the time. You know, like in medieval times before medicine, like babies would just die. And the thought was always that like if your baby died, it was because like a Jew came into your town and killed your baby because that was part of their, they would drink the blood.
That's just fucking stupid ignorance.
But if you have believed that idea, right? Because you read it somewhere. And then now you see video of Jews with the stained mattress.
I get it, but if it's like a podcast, okay? When we're outside in the courtyard, you're telling all this negative shit we get in comments about stupid things. When I hear stupidity or ignorance, now I know nothing about this, and there are some valid points you bring up about the fact of what shouldn't be done, and I get it. But when someone's ignorant or stupid, don't you say that Jonathan Bloom, I don't give a fuck what they think.
Do you think?
I don't care what I'm just using the point. If someone says, you shouldn't give two white males a fucking microphone about things, I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
Sure,
I never did.
But that's not the point I'm trying to make.
But
do you think the people in the White House, like the White House press secretary, that black chick, Biden's cabinet, Pete Buttigieg, Kamala, all these people who have an impact on your life? They do. You don't like that they do, but they have a serious impact on your life. Do you think they're ignorant and stupid? Yes. The point I'm trying to make is being like, that person's stupid, so I'm not even going to pay attention to them. They're a waste of my breath. It's like, what if that stupid person becomes president, Dad? Because do you think Biden is stupid and ignorant?
I don't think I hear, but I don't think you're going to change the views of how people perceive Jews.
Sure,
but saying
like my opinion of that is saying I agree they're ignorant and stupid, but ignoring ignorance and stupidity doesn't make it go away. But what I'm trying to say is stop doing this, call it out, all this shit. That's how you stop someone from like Kamala Harris from being the vice president. If you just kept ignoring her, which was the case, everyone was just like, oh, she's just a black woman, so we got to have her here. And then once she started vocalizing her ideas, everyone was like, wait, this woman's really stupid. Now they're hiding her. So if you just ignore stupid, that's when they become the vice president.
Has anyone spoken to anyone about Jews, about what?
Because they're so insular. No one, like, they don't talk to the media. They don't talk to.
Was this on the media?
Yeah, people are talking about it. It was a big deal.
Other than Instagram, was it on the news?
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Yeah, here's AP News. Secret tunnel in New York City synagogue leads to a brawl between police and worshipers. A historic Brooklyn synagogue that serves as the center of Hasidic Jewish movement was trashed this week during an unusual community dispute that began with the discovery of a secret underground tunnel and ended in a brawl between worshipers and police. The synagogue remained closed off by police barricades as New York City building safety agents inspected whether a tunnel dug without permission may have caused structural damage to the property.
I get it. I agree with that.
Officials and locals said young men in the community recently built the passage to the sanctuary in secret. When the group's leaders tried to seal it off Monday, they staged a protest that turned violent as police moved in to make arrests. A lot of people are talking about that.
Let me talk about that for a second. So first of all, I disagree with the fact of that Jewish sect getting violent. I think the police are doing their job. They should not get violent. I don't agree with that. Do not get violent with the police. Second of all, from what I hear, it's not tunnels. It was a tunnel to this temple. So when you tell me building tunnels all throughout the city,
we have no idea. Neither does the news.
But based on this, what we're hearing, okay. Now there is a greater chance than not that there are other. Now I don't know. This
is Jerusalem Post, which is a reputable Israeli paper, is saying tunnels. So that's a Jewish paper. The truth, and this is the truth behind. While the tunnels breathed new life into old anti-Semitic conspiracies, the reality was that a group of students decided to take 770. So 770 is the address of the headquarters of Chabad and like the Hasidic movement. Decided to take expansion into their own hands. Footage of New York Jews appearing from tunnels surrounding Chabad World Headquarters quickly circulated online. Alongside the videos were countless anti-Semitic theories many of which referenced sewer Jews. So why were the tunnels really there? Some of the students at the Chabad had secretly constructed tunnels connecting 770 with adjacent buildings in an attempt to expand the center. I don't even know if I buy that. Expand the center. Why are you expanding by dirty little tunnels under the ground?
Yeah, I think it's good.
That's not an expansion.
And it's not safe. It's not safe.
Not at all.
I'm telling you, you need an engineer to build
This
those
is ignorant and
structures.
stupid. Building
Yeah,
tunnels.
it's dumb.
After Chabad was made aware of the damage caused by the young men, the building's administrators tried to repair the damage, which was met by further damage by the young men. So I guess that's what they're saying this is, that once they discovered the tunnels, like the higher ups were like closing it off with this these tarps, and then that's when it got violent.
It can't be safe for the structure, Bronson.
Oh, it's definitely not.
It's stupid.
So here, this is investigators uncovered a single linear underground tunnel approximately the length of a bowling alley that had been illegally excavated. The buildings department told the New York Jewish Weekly. Those who dug the tunnel had created several openings in the basement walls. It wasn't immediately clear how much of the tunnel had been evacuated from the ground or excavated from the ground and how much was formed by making openings in existing rooms. The tunnel had rudimentary supports in place and was constructed without approval or permits. The safety, so
they're going to have to shut that building down.
Yeah, and then that's going to be a huge problem
that's their
too.
tempo.
You
can have the weight on that.
That's the world headquarters of the Chabad movement, which is like a huge movement.
But I also, I think this is like a cult. And so I'm not a firm believer of that kind of group. But I understand what you're saying.
But like,
I hear you.
To those ignorant, stupid people,
We're all the same.
a Jew's a Jew.
I understand.
And there are bad problems in that community, the Hasidic Chabad community, especially in New York. It's so insular, it's so cult-like. And there were big problems with like child sexual offense. Like a lot of the higher up rabbis, a lot of the fathers, a lot of the older people.
There's a lot of corruption there.
Are like, there's a lot of sexual abuse. There's a lot of like physical abuse.
Just like there are in the church and things like that.
Sure, I'm talking about this.
But I'm saying there are bad people. Anytime you have people that are higher up in power, there's always abuse and power, things like that.
Sure. But like those stories have always circulated. And then people see a bloody mattress.
I understand what you're saying, Brian, but they circulate in every kind of genre and every kind of group. And this is what they do. And if you want to use it to, not you, I'm saying somebody wants to use it to fit their narrative, to justify their ignorance, they're going to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
They're going to do it.
And so what are you going to do about that? Just let them do that? Like, I don't understand.
I don't think there's anything we can do anything about.
Really? So you just let it happen?
No, what I'm saying, let it happen. Listen, in a perfect world, I would wish that didn't happen. But that's just the way it is. And I don't see any way to correct that problem. I don't see any way because I just don't see it.
So then do you let someone do you let one of those people become the president? Because you're saying I can't do anything. They are who they are. And I'm saying, no, we need to fucking educate people. Talk to them. Use our platform on this podcast. Talk to people about what's going on. Combat anti-Semitism. You don't just let it run rampant. You're saying this will always happen. These people will always think this. So it is what it is. And I'm saying I just don't agree with that.
Okay. And I appreciate that. Maybe I'm a little more cynical because I'm older. I don't think we can cure, in my opinion, anti-Semitism.
Never said cure. Okay, of course you can't
You
cure.
understand what I'm saying, though? I don't think that.
I just think even like a year ago, and this is how it is. It's a slippery, like a year ago when Kanye was first on all his anti-Semitic shit, everyone was like, this is bad. How dare him? Cutting deals, everything. Now his anti-Semitic shit, people are like, yeah, okay. Like people, so within 1 year, we went from this major figure needs to be canceled, all business dealings go away, to this isn't a big deal anymore. What's another year going to be? What's another year? That's how you go from Nazi Germany being like, the Jews just need to wear a star. Okay, that's not that big of a deal. To 2 years later, they need to be gassed to death.
But my point is about people and the way America is and the new topic, he went ahead and got canceled and he's right back to where he was.
Right, because people
forget and get comfortable and lazy.
It's not
and
people
go
forget
with their life.
because people have gotten more anti-Semitic, so they don't. So when a year ago Kanye said, "Fuck the Jews, they control Hollywood," people were like, "Ooh, I don't know if you should say that."
It goes on to the next. That goes on the next topic. Whatever. That's what it is. I think that's just the way it is. You've even said that yourself. It's like,
well, of course it goes to the next
day or whatever it is, and it goes to
But
the next topic.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying people forget about Kanye. I'm saying they agree with him now. It's not that they forgot. It's that a year ago he said the Jews control Hollywood, and people were like, Kanye, what are you doing? Don't say that. And now Kanye, a year later, says the Jews control Hollywood, and they say, oh my God, you're right. They do control Hollywood. That's a problem. I'm not saying they forgot about it.
And how do you think you solve this issue?
By talking about you're a supporter of the you're a supporter of the ADL, right?
I'm having a conversation.
I think you solve you can never solve the issue. I think you can alleviate the issue by talking about it, not by ignoring it. Your solution is it's not a solution. Your idea is to just not do anything, right? Not do a single thing. Just let it fester and spread. But my idea, which I'm going to use the analogy that you use all the time, when you have a cancer, you go in and you cut it out. You don't let it spread. In this analogy, you're saying the cancer of anti-Semitism, it's already in you. There's nothing I can do. And I'm saying, no, let me go in there and tweak around, see what I can do.
Okay, there are two different things we're talking about. I agree that educating the younger people, trying to educate them so you can stop it, is a great thing. There's no downside. Something like this, when people watch this, if they go ahead and say, oh, there they are, I hate the Jews, whatever, I'm saying, I don't think there's anything you could do about that.
Not in that, sure. But if you're educating as a whole.
I think everyone should be educated about things. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm talking about this particular thing, meaning when they watch this, if they're going to hate the Jews, they're going to hate Jews no matter what. I think that there has to be, for example, listen, first, just hear me out for a minute, please. When I said, I think when my generation no longer is alive, nobody will have phones in their house. I think, right? Because I think your generation is a very different generation. I think with your generation, my feeling is that because of the way you guys are, the time you were born in, the upbringing, the education, the more inclusion you guys are, the more compassionate, whatever it is, I think prejudice across everything will be very different with your generation.
You're saying it's going to keep getting lower?
It's going to get lower and lower.
I think
racism and prejudice will be lower and lower. Once my generation is extinct, I think it'll be lower.
I think 5 years ago, it was at its lowest. I think since then, it's been getting worse. Even within our own family, you don't see it. 5 years ago, we never would have talked about or even made jokes about that races are different and worse and whatever. Well, now we openly are openly say Arab people are dirty or whatever. We openly say shit like that.
No, I think
that never would have happened 5 years ago.
I think it's gotten worse in the sense where, because of the political, what's going on in the world,
right.
I think the divide in our country, I think social media continues to grow.
Exactly.
And right, but I do think, okay, and again, I'll never know. But I do think that when my generation no longer is alive, your generation is much more forgiving and compassionate.
But they aren't. But young BLM people, they're like, white people are evil. That's not compassionate.
I know, but they're jumping. I hear what you're saying, but I really believe, and I could be wrong, I think that your generation is much more, as I said, more forgiving, more compassionate, more educated in the humanitarian side.
But what about
I think it's going to change.
Liberal youth, right? On college campuses, people who are 18 right now, they're way more prejudiced and racist and bifurcated than ever before. It's all about what your race is. It's all about
You're right, but
and they're going to grow up to be your age.
But remember how liberal you are, and as you got out there in the real world and you work and how things change.
But we haven't seen that with these kids.
Okay, I think that.
I mean, I hope you're right, but I think 10 years ago it was the case, and I think 15 years ago, Black people didn't think, and this is a big generalization, but Black people as a culture didn't think white people were evil and bad and whatever. They do now. Young Black people are they genuinely think white people are the problem.
It's our government and our social media, which is a major problem.
Right, and so that's why I'm saying I think now we're more racist, we're more prejudiced, we're more anti-Semitic.
I do agree with that now,
even than 5 years ago.
Wait, I do agree with that because I felt right. I'd say the past 10 years is when I got tainted. I never had.
You feel it in yourself. I feel it in myself.
Yes,
and I see it everywhere. Even Bryce, but people who you would never even think are say racist things.
You
and
know
you're
why?
like, whoa.
Because it's shoved in our face every minute.
Yeah,
I think it's.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's gotten worse.
I 1,000% agree with you because I know it's. I never thought like when I grew up, no one gave a shit if you were white, black, Indian. No one cared. We didn't give a fuck. We didn't care at all. I swear on life when I tell you we didn't care. But I tell you this whole. I think the BLM movement created problems for this.
Just be like like diversity movement. That whole thing.
Yeah, but
is what created all these problems.
So
because by forcing things is what made people be like. It made the people who you were forcing in. It made them be like, now we're better.
I'll give an example. If somebody let me use the black-white analogy for a second, okay? If somebody came up to me who was black and wanted to talk to me about in a normal way, just saying how fucked up it is for being black and how unfair it is, I'd have no problem listening to it and I want to learn, and it might make me a better person, might make me understand it.
And there's a lot of truth in it.
Yes, but because if you have any compassion and feeling and you have any sense of decency, you don't want anybody treated differently because of how they're born or whatever. But on the flip side, if someone says, I should get this because I am gay, I should get this because I'm black, or wears a shirt.
Or all of our problems are because of you.
Right. Or literally when I see a black person where it says Black Lives Matter, it aggravates me because I'm just being, hear me out for a minute, because it's saying that my life doesn't matter in some regard.
How is it saying that?
Okay, but you understand what I'm trying to say? If a Jew walks around saying Jews are this, I'd be like, that person's a douchebag.
If a Jew walked around saying Jewish lives matter, do you think that means that they're saying Christian lives don't matter? Really? No, I'm asking you. Do you?
But based on
if it's someone walked around with a shirt that said Jewish lives matter, would you think that they are meaning that Christian lives don't matter? You would never think that. That's a ridiculous thought. So when someone walks around with Black Lives Matter, you saying that means white lives don't matter? That's a ridiculous thought.
I think it's saying that their life matters more.
So if someone walked around with a Jewish Lives Matter shirt, do you think they mean Jewish lives matter more than Muslim lives?
I think that person walked around with Jewish Lives Matter, I think that person would be ridiculed beyond belief.
It's not. If you wore a Jewish Lives Matter shirt, because of all this anti-Semitism, and you were like, the Jews are being killed.
I'm talking. Okay, I heard you though. I understand what you're saying. What, you can't get mad at me. I understand.
For interrupting me and then saying, stop. Okay, whatever.
No, go ahead. No, I'm not interrupting you.
No, you heard me.
No, but I'm not trying to be a dick. So when you say it, I'm answering.
But you didn't. You said a different question. You didn't answer my question. You may have heard me, but you didn't answer.
Based on the circumstances that transpired.
If you were Jewish...
Listen, I'm going to answer your question.
Let me ask it. Okay. What question? What's
if you were a Jew and you stood somewhere and you wore Jews' life matter, do you mind saying that Christian lives don't matter, Muslim lives don't matter?
No, because you just said. But then I asked a separate question and you answered a different way. Because you said matters more. That's what you added that new word in. So then I was going to ask a new question saying...
What's your new question?
And I asked it. I said... If you wore a Jewish Lives Matter shirt, do you really think you're implying that Jewish lives matter more than others, or are you just saying that Jewish lives matter? Okay. What would you think that you're implying?
I'm going to answer the question.
Okay.
And you're going to let me answer the question.
Yes.
The difference is based on the whole thing that transpired with social media in the past 4 years.
This isn't an answer to the question.
It is. It's a fucking answer to the question. Okay. It's the way I'm answering the question.
But it's bringing in a different issue.
No, because if the Jews went ahead and marched and the Jews burned down buildings.
So it has to do with damage.
No, don't you say if the Jewish race or religion or faith, whatever you want to call it, went around and did something that was so for the past year and a half and did this that was shoved in my face that if they didn't get their way, they burned buildings down. They spray paint on the street. They'll walk them. And the Jews would have to be treated with such a different kid gloves on and whatever because they get hemmed and hawed so much. And I sort of, I'd be like, I find that offensive.
But the question is, you would think now that they did all that, you now think them saying Jewish lives matter means Jewish lives matter more than others?
100%, yes.
So forcing an idea and damaging property is what changes in your mind.
It's not one or two specific. It's the totality of it. So therefore, for example,
But don't you think you're putting a lot of ideas onto what Black Lives Matter, when a black person wears that shirt, they didn't tell you what they're thinking. You're ascribing these ideas to them.
No, because the prior course of history and conduct, when it was being shoved down my throat and all the damage was being done, and the leaders of Black Lives Matter didn't even protect the African Americans, and they raped and pillaged and benefit themselves, and what it represented as of it, that's how I make my determination.
But what is that? What is the leaders raping and pillaging the community? What is that? How does that lead you to believe that they believe Black Lives Matter more than white lives? What does that have to do with that idea?
Okay, because they're blaming when they go ahead and damage and destroy and steal from all the stores and it's not safe to walk the street, and they stop all those cars from the street and use things like that. Therefore, it's saying that our life matters more. Yes, I look at the circumstances. It's being forced. I say all lives matter. If you're an asshole, I make my determination. If you're an asshole, if you're a good person, I make my determination. But I think all lives matter. So, but when I see that, and for example, if that was to happen, which happened, and if there's a group of Jews protesting, 10 Jews, whatever, I know that because they're white, those Jews would not be arrested. They'd be arrested. It'd be different. But because there was a whole big move with the BLM, and they want to make sure it was politically correct and not whatever.
There were a lot of Jews arrested in the synagogue.
I'm okay with that.
Right, but you're saying they wouldn't be arrested because they're white.
No, they would be arrested. They wouldn't because they're black.
Right, I understand.
That's my point.
A lot of people were arrested during those riots, but I hear you.
But
I understand. I do understand. I understand the point you're making.
To me, I wish that never happened. I wish that, and again, I'm not a know-it-all, but if someone, like I said to you always throughout the beginning of the podcast, if someone says to me, I'm gay, I'm like, I'm out. I'm black, I'm out. If a Jew says, I've had Jewish people say to me, welcome home, my brother. And I'm like, you're a douchebag. I'm not your brother.
Oh, when Jewish people are too Jewish, I don't like it.
That's
get
my
away from
point.
It. Yeah,
I'm saying that anything in moderation. Now, I agree 100% that everyone should be treated equal as a human being. That doesn't mean that everyone needs to have the same equal opportunities. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Me neither.
Right. But this is
no. Yeah. Equal. Sure. I agree.
It's just, that's just not life, right? That's just not the way it is. So it's the same when someone says to you, oh, I identify as they, them. You'll be like, fuck you. I'm going to treat, you're born a man. I see a man. That's how I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to say, dude. I'm not going to be like, dudette. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
So I hear what you're saying, but I have to look at I'm as a person who's 56, I look at the circumstances. I come to it based on me, who I am, what I've seen, and then I give my answer. It's not just a black white answer.
Sure.
But I do agree with you 110% that I think it's gotten worse in the past 5 to 8 years. I do agree.
On every side. White people are more racist. Black people are more racist.
I agree with you. And I think what's happening is because it's being shoved down our throats and it's being forced rather than just let people live. And if you don't like the Jewish person, okay, I agree, educate them. You got to start with the youth because you might not be able to change my mind, so to speak, whatever. But if you don't like a Jewish person, then don't live in a town where it's probably
right. That's
Jewish.
What I was going to say. Like,
if you don't like this, then don't live there.
But with all the diversity, equity, inclusion stuff, it was like if you had an all-white business, you're now forced to have this type of person in your business, this type of person in your business.
My friend,
and that's just not.
It doesn't work.
That's not going to make people be like, oh, okay. Like that's not. It's just not going to make things better.
My friend is a law firm, and he's told by his clients they have to have a certain amount of transgender, black, gay, and why I don't. Lawyers, I'm talking lawyers. Imagine going to court and saying, not the best lawyer, but because they're transgender, I want them. It doesn't work. When you go, Bronson, if you need an operation, God forbid, Kanahara poo-poo, you want to search out, you don't care anything about that doctor. You don't care if they're a man, woman, black, white, Indian. You want the best doctor in the world to operate on you.
Right.
Not the doctors put there because they're transgender.
Or put there for whatever reason.
Right.
And so another thing too is
doesn't that make you hate or dislike?
No, it's a problem.
It creates a wedge.
It creates division.
Okay.
And it creates animosity.
Yeah,
100%. And that's what I'm saying. I think that's why I think it's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse. you're not a parent yet, but when you hear certain parents, all they do is talk about their kid. You never met the kid. You hate the fucking kid.
I don't hate them, but it's annoying. Agreed.
Okay, I'm not saying
No,
hate. You
I
want
know,
harm
but-
to come to them.
No, I know.
But
It's annoying. You're
I
like,
use
fuck 'em.
hate like I use the
I
word
know.
retard. I don't mean literally retard. So when you see the kid, you're like, it's a fucking douchebag, that kid.
And you're just like, I'm done. I don't want to even deal with the kid.
Correct. Mom's dad. I think I told the story.
yeah.
The dog. Golden retrievers. Who doesn't like a golden retriever? He talked about the dog so much. You didn't want to pet the dog.
Right. Because then you're like, I'm giving into the.
You're like, I don't even know the dog. I don't like the dog.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting
There's
at.
been a huge wave of there's been a lot of airplane mishaps in the last year or two, more than usual. Did you see that there was that whole side of the plane flew off on an Alaska Airlines flight?
No. That's scary.
The emergency door. If you're sitting in the emergency door, that whole panel flew off in the middle of the air, and they had to do an emergency landing. Everyone was fine, but there've been a lot of those.
What if you don't
mishaps.
have your seatbelt on? You're screwed.
You would be sucked out. Correct.
Everyone
was fine.
Because I always do extra leg room. I'm doing wearing my seatbelt.
I always wear my seatbelt on the plane.
All right.
A lot of mishaps like that have happened in the last year or
that gives me
two.
chills.
The Japan flight just flew into, right? That one we just talked about a few weeks ago. A lot of these people have been also comparing, and specifically with Alaska Airlines, but people have been comparing a lot of social media and corporate posts from these airline companies, and they're all promoting diversity hires. So they're all promoting that they have this many they have this many gay employees at Alaska Airlines. They have this many black employees at Delta.
Who cares?
No, but people are saying
This
this
is the
is
problem.
why there are mishaps.
Yep.
Is because they're
Not
hiring.
qualified, not
they're not
qualified.
hiring for who's the best at the job. They're hiring because of quotas. And so we have plane doors flying off now because we have someone who's not good enough. Doesn't matter their skin color. It's
Yep.
because they were hired because they were gay, not
Yep.
because they're a good employee who happens to be gay. So people were that was a big thing online this week. Was
So maybe it will change.
there was
The pendulum going back.
people found a corporate PowerPoint from Delta that was in their marketing. You know how companies will have design guidelines, or whenever we talk about this product, mention this, this, and this, that kind of thing, which is a very normal corporate thing. There was one from Delta that said, anytime in an email or a corporate whatever, black or brown is used for someone's skin color, the B's need to be capitalized. So black and brown need to be capitalized. Do not capitalize when using white. That's what Delta's telling their employees.
Do you understand? Now, let's hear me. That doesn't bother you?
Oh, it
That
does.
doesn't make you fucking hate it because you're what about male
Toxic masculinity.
What do they call it? Toxic masculinity, right? Or the white man that doesn't bother you?
When it's just innocent, whatever. Let's say you can make the argument it's never innocent. It's okay, whatever. That's annoying, and I could see the problem. But when there are now airplanes that are in danger, right? Because of that, now it's a whole different issue.
But it's everywhere, Bronson. It's the same with the lawyer going to court and
right.
losing.
No, of course.
The
I'm
doctor.
just saying. Here's a concrete example.
Okay. Well, I get it. The football coach when he said you got to put a fucking black person as it must be a head coach.
Yeah,
it's wrong, and I'm not saying against black people. I'm saying it's wrong. You can't imagine saying we got to make sure that we have 5 Jewish people on every team and professional athletes. We're not good athletes.
yeah, right. That's not going to
We're
help.
not good athletes.
Right.
Or I say, you know what? I know Bryce Bronson he's a better athlete, but you're a better artist than him. And say, but I need to make sure that Bronson plays football, whatever.
Right.
And I need to make sure that Bryce it does art because you are definitely your brain. You are much more creative than Bryce is.
Right.
So if I say I only want Bryce now, it's not fair. Bryce has to be given the same opportunity as Bronson because even though the brain works differently,
both things are going to suffer. Now the movie is going to be worse that
better
Bryce is
believe it.
making.
You better believe it.
And the football team is going to be worse because I'm on it.
And don't
It's
you
going to be
think?
worse.
Don't you think the other athletes on the team are going to fucking hate you and resent you?
Oh, of course. And I wouldn't blame them for it. And that's what we're seeing.
So
And that's
today I went to a shoot, and then we'll wrap it up. Today I went to another private shooting course down in Homestead, and there were 5 guys. And I think it was fine, but
you guys didn't order Shake Shack?
What?
You said there were 5 guys.
But I'm pumped. Okay,
That's a pretty good joke. Thank you.
I guess it was. So So those other guys, one of the guys was a Marine guy, my friend Darren, so it was no big deal. But the other 3 guys been training with the past 2 days. So it was like I was on the last day of the course, whatever. So I came in there knowing I was not as qualified for whatever, maybe down the road. So I said to them, listen, I hope I don't slow any of you guys up. Because I knew my position.
Yeah.
And I'm a loudmouth alpha personality. And they're like, no, because I knew the instructor when certain things, like even the way I held the gun, like the instructor then said, what'd you get? He asked each of us to get out of course. I said, holding the gun the right way.
But nowadays the mentality is you would have come
to wait for me.
You would have come to that class and you would have said, everyone needs to go at my speed.
Correct.
Because I'm the slowest.
But I said right because of how I was brought up. Whatever.
And now the course is worse. The gun course is worse
Correct.
because everyone's going slower.
And I said to the guys, I just want to let you know, I don't want to slow any of you guys up. Let me know if I'm slowing you guys up.
Yeah. Right. No, it's just a different mentality now. And it's worse. Planes are, doors are falling off of planes.
Mine's the right fucking mentality.
Yeah.
Same with the schools. Why don't we just talk about how certain schools that I think you boys talked about the other day over the weekend, how they're bringing the curve down to make the rate.
Right.
It doesn't work, period.
Or they're just getting rid of like certain classes because people are doing too poorly.
It's fucked up. I'm telling you right now, there's no substitute for hard work.
Yeah.
And if you can't make it in that arena, then that arena is not meant for you. That's just the way it is. Not everybody's going to be a studious. Not everybody's going to be a doctor and a lawyer. Someone has to be a painter. Someone has to be a handyman. Someone has to be. It's just the way it is. Society won't work,
and we're seeing it.
Right. There are Indians and there are chiefs. No, I'm just saying. But
there are leaders and followers. There are CEOs. There are employees. Not everyone can be a CEO.
But even the chief, the community works because the leader delegates.
Right. But chiefs are Indians. Not everyone can be the CEO.
You understand?
Not everyone can be the.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my point is, and by the way, not everyone go to college. Like I agree. I think that college is going to eventually die down. It's going to be more tradesman kind of education. That is the fundamental backbone of what runs our society. The blue collar, the worker bee,
truckers,
right? So, but
factory workers.
Yeah, it just doesn't. And if it doesn't change, you guys are fucked.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing it.
But I think you guys are fucked either way because I think all the people coming in over the borders, we're done. America's fucking done.
No, we're just going to have to
no, that's
sure. They can all they'll all be in New York. Florida will be its own thing.
Because I do agree with you. I was talking to my buddy on the way back from Homestead today because he was in the military for 25 years. He thinks that the states are going to divorce one another.
Yeah, because
and I think that's the only way.
Because
no war.
What are borders? Like if let's say in Arizona, if Texas is like we're closing our border, but Arizona is like we're going to keep open our border, then Texas basically has an open border against their will. So it's in Texas's
divorce
best
the federal
interest,
government.
Right? Yeah. It's in Texas' best interest to be like, okay, we're going to close down the border with Arizona because you guys are fucking letting people in. So we're going to close down all our borders.
I hope my friend is correct, and you said this too.
Florida's good for this stuff. We only have one border.
Right. But I do hope you and he are correct because I like the idea if the states divorce from one another from the federal government because I'm fine.
I know, but that'd be so problematic.
Wait, but like the red states become the red states. The blues, you don't like go to
but think about the fallout from that. Like,
but the federal government's a problem. If we go 5 more years with the way it is right now, let's say Michelle Obama's president. We are fucked, Bronx. You understand?
Yeah.
And
I know. We've gone down that road.
Yeah, all right. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
No fatherly advice next time?
No, next time.
All right. Love you, Brian.
Love
Bye,
you
everybody.
too.
Thank you. You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me.
The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.